This is Valley News Live at 5.
With today's high temperatures and even higher temps to come, our weather team is designating Friday and Saturday as first alert weather days. Triple-digit heat doesn't happen a lot around here, and we'll be closing in on 100 degrees. So let's go to Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson for the latest. Hutch?
Yes, thanks, Andrea. We have declared the end of the week into the weekend a first alert weather days, Friday and Saturday. Take a look at the heat today, reaching the 90-degree mark earlier this afternoon in Moorhead. Already 89 in Bismarck, 84 for Bemidji, Eroso at 82 degrees, and down to the south we have 87 for you in Roberts County, South Dakota. A few clouds drifting overhead as we head into your evening tonight. Here's what you need to know. I cannot rule out a spotty shower or thunder shower in the overnight hours. The best chance of that will be on the Minnesota side of the river. We stay in the 80s until after sunset and then quickly fall off into the 60s. A couple of things we want to keep reminding you to be aware of, and that is your body's symptoms or signs that things are going awry. Heat exhaustion sets in if you notice excessive sweating, you're dizzy, pale, cool skin to the touch. It's time to cool off right away before heat stroke sets in. That's when the body's core temperature elevates and you can be in a lot of trouble very quickly. So keep these things in mind. We'll have much more in your hour-by-hour forecast here in just a little bit, Andrea, as we go over the heat wave and more impacts as we head through the weekend.
Okay, thanks, Hutch. With all this talk about heat, it's important to keep safety in mind. Heat tops the list of weather-related killers most years in the U.S. Valley News Team's JC Dodd tells us more about the upcoming heat wave and how it could affect children and adults.
As temperatures continue to climb in the valley, the risk of heat-related illnesses and death rise with it. Valley News Team's meteorologist Lisa Green says these high temperatures are not typical for our region this early in the year.
We are expecting to break records.
And with summer just beginning for kids across the valley, families will begin spending more time outside in the sun. Although fun, sports camps, day camps, parks, and other outdoor activities pose a risk of heat exhaustion and heat stroke for kids and adults.
A lot of people find it surprising when they hear that heat, extreme heat, is the #1 weather-related killer in the U.S.
The Operations and Communication Manager for Sanford FM Ambulance, Don Martin, offers tips to parents.
Well, the best thing to do is to watch your children to make sure that they have oral intake, that they are rehydrating properly to make sure that they don't go past that threshold of heat exhaustion to heat stroke.
With the heat comes an increase in humidity. Green says when you combine the two,
has more of a impact on your body. It's harder to sweat and get that heat out of your body, and your body's working harder to stay cool.
Martin adds that signs of heat-related illnesses aren't immediate.
It takes time. It takes that continuous days, that streak before we start to see the effects on the human body.
With the heat wave expected in the valley this weekend,
make sure your kids are hydrated. Even if the kids aren't thirsty, be pushing that water on them. Sports drinks are good with the electrolytes they give.
Green's 3 biggest tips to prepare are
hydration, air conditioning, and limiting your time outdoors.
In Fargo, JC Dodd, Valley News Live.
Martin also tells us sunscreen and shade are very important to protect you and your kids during outdoor activities. Fargo police officers are cracking down on some issues involving bicycles here in town. This comes on the heels of an incident that took place Sunday involving 2 kids who were disrupting traffic on 2nd Avenue. They were arrested and their bikes were impounded. Officers will be documenting each case and will be working with the juvenile court system closely to tackle this problem.
But we also have laws that we have to uphold. We have ordinances that people in our community expect us to enforce, and we have to just explain that. We have to explain that there are consequences to actions, that there are things that are legal and illegal.
Tonight at 9 and 10, Valley News Team's Aaron Walling will bring us more information on what the Fargo Police Department is doing, and we'll hear from a Fargo resident who has seen this issue firsthand in his neighborhood. We're learning more about the crash that led to a power outage last night in Fargo. Crystal Gustafson was arrested for DUI after police say she hit a power pole that led to the outage. She was also cited for not having her vehicle under control. She was not hurt. Xcel Energy worked through the night to restore power to about 700 customers. A Fargo man has been sentenced for his role in a violent robbery. The indictment alleges that in 2019, Shelton Lee Mosby IV was one of several people who robbed customers of commercial sex. They posted ads to promote prostitution with women. Then the defendants used weapons and even beat those people who they thought wouldn't go to police if they were robbed. Mosby was sentenced to 4 years and 3 months in federal prison. He was also sentenced to 3 years of supervised release. The defense attorney for Derek Chauvin has requested a lesser sentence after he was convicted in the death of George Floyd. His attorney cites Chauvin's age, criminal history, and level of cooperation, among other factors that would support a probationary sentence. However, the judge in the case ruled that he may face a longer prison sentence because prosecutors proved certain aggravated factors beyond a reasonable doubt, including the former officer's cruelty in his treatment of Floyd. And now prosecutors made a request to the judge to hand down a 30-year sentence. Chauvin is scheduled to be sentenced on the 25th. Clay County Public Health continues to make progress in its vaccination efforts, providing COVID-19 vaccine to children in the 12 to 15 age group. Almost 700 in that age group have received the first dose of the vaccine. Nearly 600 16 to 17-year-olds and close to 13,000 between the ages of 18 and 49. Almost 9,000 50 to 64-year-olds and 7,300 65 and older have had their first shot. None of the 12 to 15 age group have received the second dose yet, but nearly 500 16 to 17-year-olds have. You can see the 18 to 49 age group is the most vaccinated right now, and the older age groups continue to make good progress as well. One vaccine clinic is being held this week at the Family Service Center in Clay County. It's happening on Friday from 9 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon. The North Cheyenne Street reconstruction project in West Fargo is moving into Phase 2. This week's work will span from 4th Avenue West to 3rd Avenue West. Next week, work extends through 2nd Avenue West. Areas that were closed during Phase 1 will start opening back up as construction is completed. Street parking is available again in front of the Cheyenne Plaza, and you can access businesses using Suchet and Morrison streets. A beautiful day to get out and do some good for the environment. Volunteers spend 4 hours along the river in Moorhead planting 800 trees and shrubs. They are strategically placed along the Red River to maintain river bank stability, encourage growth of native plants, improve water quality, and provide habitat for wildlife.
We're just trying to make the environment a better place for the river and the local community. I suppose at this point, we're just doing this as part of my work, but it does benefit the entire community as a whole.
The City of Moorhead, River Keepers, and the Clay County Soil and Water Conservation District partnered for the project called Reforest the Red. A new high school will be built in Moorhead. Moorhead Public Schools broke ground on the new school this morning. Voters passed a bond referendum in 2019 to fund the $110 million project, which includes rebuilding Moorhead High School on the existing site and creating a career academy at the former Sam's Club building. The district superintendent was focusing on the safety aspect of the school's new design.
Students in this facility are going to be able to look forward to a facility that, number one, will be a little bit safer. So this new design will have three main entry points versus 28.
The campus will feature a gym that seats 3,000 people, a 1,000-seat theater, and a pool with room for 300 spectators. The academic portion of the building is scheduled to open in the 2023-24 school year, and the entire building will open the following year. The Career Academy is set to open this fall. Hundreds of Fargo students were given the okay to spray their teachers and staff with silly string today. It was all because the kids at Hawthorne and Clara Barton Elementary surpassed their fundraising goal of $4,000 by almost $700. The money was raised by students collecting pledge donations from family and friends to do tasks like jumping jacks and completing an obstacle course.
For these kids to get together and really share the excitement and the joy and the total just fun of it all, to come together as a group is pretty neat.
The money raised will be used to buy outdoor tables at Hawthorne. Still to come, a mega retailer's two-day shopping event is only a few weeks away, so it's time to start planning what's going in your cart.
And sprinkling is about the only way we've been able to get moisture onto the grass here lately. This captured out at the Dakota Winds Golf Course. Friday and Saturday, first alert weather days as the heat builds into the valley. Your hour-by-hour forecast is next.